How St Mary Cray on the edge of London and Kent has changed 1985 to 2023. In the 1980s I was very concerned about the number of old buildings disappearing, so I photographed parts of London, Kent and Orpington to create a record. I mainly focused on listed and locally listed buildings, as well as anything else that looked like it was about to be demolished or was interesting. So I photographed parts of St Mary Cray in 1985 and have come back in 2023 to see what has happened. I've also made a video on other parts of St Mary Cray, link at the end, from pictures from 1982. I will cover location, some history, context, and have a good look at the 1985 photos. There's often quite a lot of detail in the background that's easily missed. Please stay to the end for all the detail. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images. St Mary Cray is located here on the edge of the London Borough of Bromley and border with Kent. It's just off the A224 near the A20. Looking at the London Borough of Bromley listed buildings map, we can see that St Mary Cray is now part of a conservation area which is shaded with red, with listed buildings highlighted in orange and locally listed ones in purple. They are mainly dotted along the High Street, which itself runs roughly along the path of the River Cray. So let's start near the church in 1985 with this Grade 2 listed building, which is 18th century with a 19th century shop, which in 1985 was still in use. A bit further round the corner on the High Street was the Blue Anchor Public House. It's a Grade 2 listed building and actually has some really old parts. According to its listing, the front is actually late 15th century, with other parts dating from the 16th, 18th and 19th century. So looking at these two in 2023, we can see that the shop is now closed and that the pub has been converted to private dwellings. Moving to the other side of the viaduct, in 1985 there was an old cottage with two shops, the candle shop and the wall shop. They were actually sandwiched between the scrapyard and the Mary Rose restaurant, as we see here. Now this view has totally changed. The cottages have gone. The building the Mary Rose was in is still there and now called the Pavilion Hotel. And where the cottages and scrapyard once were, it has been completely replaced in 2023, as we see here. Looking at a map, we've just been looking at these buildings here, grouped around the church, and just the other side of the viaduct. But now, just moving along a bit, past the old police station, which is now locally listed, and we come to this group of Grade 2 listed buildings. Looking at them, it's hard to guess just how old some parts of them are. The first property in this block was a fish and chip shop in 1985. Although it can be hard to tell looking at the outside of the building, it's actually 18th or 19th century, with a strong possibility older building materials have been reused in its construction. The building next door is older, possibly 16th century, and again possibly containing even older building material. In 1985, these buildings were the home of WS Home Improvements, along with the locally listed building next door. Moving to 2023, there is still a fish and chip shop here, though it's been refurbished. The home improvements business is no longer there, but there are other changes as well. If we move just beyond the old buildings, the advertising board has gone and there's now a block of flats that occupies the land on the other side, as we see here. The next building we come to that I took a picture of was in 1985 called the Orpington Weightlifting Club. In 2023, it's now a gym. Next door is the Temple Congregational Church, seen here in 1985, and then when we look again in 2023, not a great deal of change. Somewhere there is a massive change is on the other side of the road, where there were these derelict outbuildings in 1985. By 2023, they have been renovated and now are residential. Quite a change. Just along are these very grand houses. The first one was built around 1830 and is a Grade 2 listed building. Interestingly, in 1985 it was a bingo club. The next door building is locally listed and dates from around 1850. Looking at them in 2023, the buildings have both been renovated. Further along the road, we come to, in 1985, the Red Lion pub. Looking at it, as with most pubs around in the local area, it was a Courage pub. We can see the red Courage cockerel. But also notice the road sign, Red Lion Close. Then, if we move to 2023, we can see it's been converted to a residential property. And the only sign of the old pub name is actually the Close, which is still there. But also notice it now has a green background, which reflects how the London Borough of Bromley changed from white signage to green signage. On the other side of the road is another listed building that use has changed. It is a Grade 2 listed building, constructed in the 18th century. In 1985, it was an antique shop. As well as obviously looking at the antiques, if we look in the distance, we can see a red phone box. Looking in 2023, it's been converted into a residential property and the phone box has gone. In fact, that is the general trend we've seen throughout this video. Old listed or locally listed buildings that used to be used for commercial properties have now been converted for residential use. I've made another video covering this area, mainly looking at buildings around the viaduct with pictures I took in 1982. Here's the link. If you're interested in how other parts of the local area have changed since the 1980s, please take a look at my other videos, link at the end. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.